This is a segment where Chris Lavin takes just a couple of minutes each week to come and just share business wisdom, life wisdom. If you haven't met Chris yet, you're in for a treat. I got the privilege of going to the award ceremony where Chris and his wife Karen won this award. This is called the Sunshine Award. And there's literally a bus full of folks that came that wanted to help give this award to him. It's not just because Chris is really good as an entrepreneur. Chris has had multiple big exits, including a big eight-figure exit in business. So he's really good at that. But it's this that make people love him. You see, these people got off the bus and they got up on stage and they told everybody what Chris and Karen had done for them. One of the ladies, I remember she told the story about how Chris saved her and her kids from getting kicked out of their apartment. They bailed them out at the last second with some funds right when they were needed them. And that's the kind of guy that Chris is. So yes, suck up the business knowledge for sure, but also understand where Chris's heart is. Understand who he is as a person. All right, we're gonna bring up Chris. We're gonna let Bruce Buffer do his job and welcome up Chris Lavin.
And now, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. Presenting the master of the real estate deal and entrepreneur champion of the world, Chris, the negotiator Lavin.
I still love that intro. I know it may sound a little egotistical, but it's all in good fun. Um, Listen, it's November, right? So one thing that everybody talks about in Thanksgiving month is the reason that we're grateful. I want to express some experience or my experience of gratitude. First of all, gratitude it's not passive. It's a decision. It's an active word, right? It's a daily it's a daily discipline. So most people think gratitude is something that happens when things get better. I'm gonna I'm gonna ask you. I'm gonna offer you a perspective. A different perspective is the truth is gratitude is a decision. It's a practice. It's a discipline, and anybody can be grateful later. But where faith and gratitude come together is this. One of the things that I believe, without a doubt, is nothing, absolutely nothing, happens in God's world by mistake. And if that is true, then I'm either having lessons or blessings. And I hate that cliche lessons or blessings thing. But we walk through difficult times, or difficult times is a human perspective. We walk through uncomfortable times for God to deliver us something, to give us abilities later on down the road that we don't necessarily see in the moment. Um, and as a result of that, those difficult times, we often are like, oh God, I do everything you want me to do. Why is this happening to me? When the reality is God is actually molding you and perfecting you. Perfecting is a strong word. Making you the person that He needs you to be to carry out the things that He wants you to carry out. So that's where the struggle comes in, right? Between our will and God's will. Um, I want you to ask yourself, can I be grateful in this moment before time gives me the benefit of perspective? Like, it's really easy. You walk through a difficult time. Oh, I got a better one for you. You walk through like a relationship breakup and oh my God, the world is falling apart. How am I ever going to live without him or her? And then you fast forward 3 years and then you realize that that person was like cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And now they're with some other person. And you're like, oh my gosh, thank you God for, delivering me from that. Um, that's real easy, real super easy to be grateful. But can you be grateful in the moment of the heartache? That's where faith and gratitude come together. I'm going to share you a little story. And it's a difficult story. And it's really about my failings. There was a time in my life where I was involved in the music business, right? I was involved in this deal. where I had mortgaged everything. Like when I tell you I'm mortgaged, I was mortgaged. I even did the stupid thing and mortgaged my personal residence to fund the deal that was going on. And at this point in my life, I was doing everything I thought I was supposed to be doing. I was being a good steward. I was literally paying this guy $75,000 a year to give away like $250,000 a year of my money to help benefit the community. I was active in my church. I was mentoring guys. I was leading a small men's group. And I was involved in this deal that went bad. It like went so bad. I mean, when I tell you bad, I don't even know how to describe how bad it was. And I lost nearly everything, like nearly everything. Um, and I'm gonna tell you, I got real angry at God. I stopped going to church. I stopped praying. I was like, God, I'm doing for you, and this is what you're doing to me. This is what you're doing to me. You take everything that I've earned and you've taken it away. Why are you doing this to me? Right? Egotistical Chris. Here's the reality. After 2 years, the truth revealed itself. I wasn't faithful in those moments, but the truth revealed itself. The person or the people that I were involved in, you might know the name, Lou Pearlman. I was involved in the Orlando music scene. I was a primary financier between O-Town, or Making the Band was a television show. I was involved in Sync, Backstreet Boys, all of those guys through Lou Pearlman. And when that deal went bad, I lost everything. But here's the reality. God wasn't cursing me. He was actually picking me up out of that situation and putting me over here and protecting me. Did I lose a few shekels? I most certainly did. But see, the reality is God was removing me from that situation and put me into safety, because when the FBI went looking for Lou Pearlman, they not only arrested Lou, they arrested everybody in his immediate vicinity. Lou went to prison for 25 years. Everybody around him went to prison for 10, 7, 3, and 5. Meanwhile, Chris, 2 years earlier, had been separated from the situation and was put over here safely. I was not grateful in the moment, but I was grateful at the end. And I'll never forget the day that this all came out about Lou. I dropped to my knees and I thank God for what he did for me. And so it was real easy for me to be grateful in the result, but I was not grateful in the process. So that's the real test. Are you grateful in the moment? So like when the deal turns bad, when the numbers don't work, when someone doesn't text you back right away, that's the real test. That's where the real mental muscle comes in. That's the real blessing, right? And I say this because I've lived it. I've lived it. I know it. Even when I was growing up, there were days when I didn't get to eat, right? Today, I'm grateful that the sun rises. I'm grateful that I get to be here alive. I'm grateful that you showed up so I had somebody to share my experience with. Because what good does it do me to live through these experiences if I can't share them with somebody so that they don't have to suffer the pain that I suffered? I'm just so grateful. And that's not like a cute gratitude quote. That's me being honest with you and being open and being direct. Because if it wasn't for you, there would be no purpose for what I'm doing here today. That's life-changing perspective. When you're grateful for the little things, you definitely get more and more grateful, more and more things to be grateful for, right? God starts blessing you with bigger things, bigger things. And no, gratitude is not pretending that everything is perfect. Gratitude is being thankful for the way things are today. It means recognize the real blessings you have. Like, listen, I wake up every day and I have an amazing woman as a partner in my life. That should be enough to be grateful for. My wife is one of the most amazing human beings I've ever met, and I love her dearly. She's my best friend. She's my partner. She's my confidant. She's my lover. She's my everything. But I have more than that. I have friends. I have relationships. I have people that are in my circle. God has blessed me with the ability to do this real estate thing so that I can see firsthand him working, reaching out and touching other people's lives in and around our immediate circle. If you operate this way, not only will you live with peace of mind, but you live with such fulfillment, it's unbelievable. I want to let you in on a piece of scripture that I love. This is the day the Lord has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. So listen, remember, gratitude is a decision, not a reaction. It's a practice, not a personality trait. The faster you turn to gratitude in the moment, the faster God can move in your life. And the faster you'll find peace. Listen, I live on gratitude. Sometimes I'm driving down the road, and I have a beautiful car, don't get me wrong, and I'm driving down the road, and I get so overwhelmed with gratitude. It brings tears to my eyes. I used to fathom myself as some kind of tough guy, but since I changed my life and turned it over to God, just the very fact that God accepts me and uses me today as I am, where I am, who I am, is absolutely overwhelming to me. So this is what I want you to do. This is what I think you should do. This is what I have to do. When something frustrates you this week, pause and say out loud, thank you. Because I know one thing. I can't be grateful for my wife and mad at her at the same time. I can't be grateful for my job and mad at it at the same time. I can't be grateful for the things that I have and be irritated by the same time. I have found that in my life, I always find what I'm seeking. If I'm looking for things to be grateful for, I will find them. If I'm looking for things to be PO'd about, I will find them too. I'm here to tell you that life on life terms means this. You can go through life and accept God's will and do it with a joyous heart. Or you can go and beat your head against the wall and then accept God's will for your life. Now, I'm here to tell you, I'm not perfect. See those flat spots? That's when we beat my head against the wall for a little while. But today, more often than not, I'm grateful in every moment, in every circumstance, and in every difficult time. Because I know at the end of the day, the difficulty that I'm walking through today will be a blessing that will allow me to help somebody in the future. Thank you all very much for listening to me.
Chris, that's beautiful, man. You've already got questions coming in. Are you open for a couple questions?
Absolutely.
All right. First question. How, and folks, this is your chance to get your questions answered by Chris. He doesn't do a lot of like Q&A sessions. Just on Mindset Mondays he comes. So if you've got a question, make sure you put it in the chat now. It comes anonymously. I won't read your name out. I'll just read the question, and then Chris can tackle it. So the first one, how can I be grateful when my car is getting almost repossessed after being 4 months behind on bills?
How can you find a reason to be grateful? So here's the situation. You're 4 months behind on bills. Maybe that car payment's not the right car payment. Listen, it's hard for me to zoom out here and pretend I'm God and pretend that I can see the big picture. But what I can tell you is this. I can be grateful for the things that I do have, right? Maybe it's not the car. Maybe it's not the car getting repossessed. But how about you focus on the job or the food or the person that smiled at you this morning? Or how about this? Being grateful for having the ability to smile at somebody else and make their day. So I'm going to challenge you with this. If you're grateful and your car is getting repossessed, it's going to get repossessed. If you're miserable, depressed, anxious, freaked out, and scared, and your car is going to get repossessed, guess what? Under both circumstances, your car is getting repossessed. If you change your attitude, and some people call this karma or energy of the earth. I find that if I put out positive comes back to me. I'm not sure why. So like I just said about banging my head against the wall, I beat my head against the wall a lot of times and then had to accept the outcome. But at the end of the day, I know that nothing, absolutely nothing happens in God's will by mistake. So I'm going to ask that you pray for some positivity in your life and focus on the things that you do have.
Chris, you got a couple of real estate questions coming at you now.
Come on.
First one is, what areas and types of properties do you recommend to purchase?
The good ones. Next. No, I'm just kidding. What areas and types of properties do I recommend? So I try to say this without sounding political, but it is political, I guess. I only buy in red states or landlord-friendly municipalities, right? Sometimes it could be a blue state with a great city, county that's red that really works with us. The reason being is because generally speaking, and I'm talking in generalities, in red states you don't have rent control, they're landlord friendly, yada, yada, yada. I personally like a C asset in a B neighborhood, something that's trying to get to that C plus or B. because that allows me to come along, ingest a little bit of capital, and make huge differences in the property by doing things. I know this is going to sound very simple, but it works. We picked up a property in Oklahoma City, and what we did was we went in and painted the buildings. Just painting the buildings, huge impact. We put up fences. We put in a dog park. You know what it costs to put in a dog park? It costs the length of the chain link fence around the perimeter, like next to nothing. It doesn't have to be secure like, you know, a human type fence. We did that. We invested a little bit of money, and we elevated that C property up a little bit. And I'm here to tell you, the employees or the contractors that were working there to do the turns for us and do this work, they were actually renting the apartments as soon as we could turn them, and we got that building up to 95% occupancy much faster than our business plan ever entitled. So red states, C plus properties in B type neighborhoods.
How long should it take for underwriting when I'm considering a property?
That's a really good question. It depends on how much you pay attention to it. I can generally underwrite a property in an hour, right? But there's a caveat to that. That's based on the numbers that are given to me. So because you got to take their numbers and do the initial underwriting. Okay, put them together. Yep, the property works. Next thing you have to do is then go and verify the taxes. You have to go out and verify the crime rates. You have to go out and get an insurance quote, because insurance have killed a lot of deals for me. But the first underwriting should not take you any more than an hour. It's basically copy and pasting it into your known spreadsheet that you use to evaluate deals. And we have a deal evaluator for those of you that are involved in our program.
Do I need equity backers to make an acquisition, or can I get into a property without an equity backer?
That all depends. How big is your checkbook? Here's the reality. No bank is going to lend you more than 70% on your first couple of deals. As you get better, you can get up to 75, maybe as much as 80 in rare cases. But that's the reality. So you have to have some way to come up with that other piece, either through syndication or some other things. And if this is your first property and you don't have a high net worth on the books, the bank is going to require you to have somebody that does as a partner. So if you're going to borrow $7 million on like a $10 million asset, you have to have a $10 million net worth and a $700,000, sometimes as much as $1 million, 15% liquidity stake.
All right, Chris, winding down to the last one here. Last one for today anyways, what are the emerging markets that you see now?
Well, this is crazy, right? So we're seeing a lot in the Midwest. We're seeing a lot of stuff growing up around manufacturing. We're really strong on Kentucky, really looking in Ohio. We're going in on Oklahoma right now. If you can find the right situations, like we're near an Air Force base, we're near an automobile manufacturer, you got to find the places that we're seeing jobs increase and unemployment decreasing and population increasing in order to support the increase in rents in the markets that you want to be in. So it seems to be a lot in the Midwest. People are pulling out of the South and the Southeast and the Sun Belts right now because of the insurance rates. I see that changing in the near future as insurance rates stop to pull back. Florida just went public instead of the private type insurance, private insurance pools here we have in Florida. So as a result, I'm going to see Florida come back. Florida's kind of the unicorn, right? Everybody wants to live in Florida, so everybody thinks that Florida real estate is the best investment. It can be. The cap rates are really low and they're real slim, and you've got to be a good operator.
Boom. Chris, anything that you want to say to close out today?
No, but listen, I can honestly tell you that I live my life seeking gratitude. I even try to be grateful for the people that God has put in my life as sandpaper people. You know the ones I mean, the ones that just kind of rub you. Well, that's the way sandpaper works, right? Sandpaper works against you, works against you, works against you, till it finally gets smooth. So if you're grateful for everything in your life, you will have nothing to complain about. Your whole attitude will change, and your whole life will change. I beg for you to do that so that you can be positive and have a positive ripple effect on the world. God bless you all, and thank you for being here.